Hey guys, welcome back. I got the head on. I was going to record it, but I was kind of struggling there doing this all by myself, trying to put this head on and get everything lined up. And it took me like 40 minutes to get it on and get it lined up. So I figured I'd spare you guys the boring part. Put the head's on. I got to torque it down yet. I just put the bolts in it and finger tighten them just to keep it from moving. So, that's what I'm going to do here in a minute. I got to get my torque tables out, which I was going to go look it up in service data and print it out, but I've got a book here that is strictly for nothing but head torques and sequence from 1981 clean up to 2019. A little book right here that tells me the pattern and the amount. It's saying 45 foot-pounds, then 65, then 65 again, then an additional 90 degrees, which of course is a quarter turn. And if it is not over 90 foot-pounds after tightening an additional 90 quarter turn, then the bolt should be replaced. But I know it'll be tight because they're all brand new head bolts, so I ain't got to worry about that. Okay, so 45, 65, and 65. Let's see here. Torque sequence is 40. So let me go to the back of the book. And there's 40 right there. It tells you to start in the middle. 1, 2, then 3, 4, then 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9, and 10. So, pretty simple. Pretty easy to follow. I've had this book, oh God, since the early 90s, I think. The very first one of these I ever bought, it was a red one. It was a wagon, 4-door wagon, and it was an 86, and I bought it in 90. It was only 4 years old and it had a blown head gasket. And I got it at a really good price. It was only 4 years old. It had like 30-something thousand miles on it. I think the guy who owned it, I think his boy was taking it out and cowboying it pretty bad, and he blew the head gasket. So I got it off of him pretty cheap. It had, I think it was 38,000 or 30,000, somewhere in there. I drove that thing for 11 years, and when I got rid of it, it had 164,000 on it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I paid $1,500 for it. It was like 15 or 1,800, and I ended up selling it for 1,000. So I definitely got my money out of it, no doubt about it. So, but anyways, let's get to torquing. Okay, let me grab my torque wrench here, and we got to set this to 45. It's at 130 now. $45. There she be. Okay. And number 1 is going to be in the front, and then we're going to want to go to the back. Okay, there's 45. going to need an extension. And I know people will say extensions take away torque. It does and it don't. It'll take away the torque applied with an impact gun. You need more force to loosen them and more force to tighten them. But with an extension, it'll still read the same on the torque wrench. It don't make a difference. Still the same. Okay, there's 2. Let's see. 3 and 4. Six. Okay, 6, and then 7, 8 is going to be on the right side, yes. There's 7 and 8. Whew. I say just hit it with a torque wrench or impact gun and torque it as tight as you could possibly get it. Strip the head bolts out. We'll super glue the head on and call it good. Okay, here's all 10 to 45, and I believe it was 65 next. And then 65 again, then quarter turn. 2.2, 85 to 92, yep, 65. 65 again, then a quarter turn. I mean, sometimes it's awesome knowing how to work on cars like this here. The garage, this has probably been about $1,500. My buddy had a head done on a Cavalier at one of the cheap garages around here, and it cost him, I think it was, well, one of the studs broke off, or bolts broke off in the block, so they had to drill it and tap it, get it out, helicoil it. But it was like $2,100 total. But I'm pretty sure he said that they said if they wouldn't ran into no problems, it'd have been like $1,800. So, I mean, it's nice. Saved myself here $1,800 by doing it myself. Probably $100 in electricity and heat. Which right now I got the door open if you can hear it, because it was hot in here and it's starting to warm up pretty good outside. But let me tell you, this morning it was chilly. It was this cold out. That's how cold it was. Yep, that cold. If you know what I'm talking about. Only men would know that or have that problem. Women wouldn't have that problem. But then it also sucks because then you have other people like family, in-laws. Like that Blazer I just did was my father-in-law's. Put a fuel tank in it, a fuel pump, a wheel bearing, both upper control arms, the driver lower control arm, passenger lower ball joint, an outer tie rod end, transmission filter fluid and gasket, brake line, and then bled the brakes. Took me like 4 days total for everything. And I got nothing. I mean, he's on a fixed income. I can't charge him. And I've known the man since I met my wife, which is 29 years. It'll be 30 years in March 17th, I think. We'll be together 29, but we've been married 25. And He's always been good to me. He's a good guy. If I ever needed anything, help with something, or I needed something, he was always there. So, always been a good guy. Think the world of him. So, can't charge the man. Just can't. But, then there's other times it's nice being a mechanic. You make good money at it. Well, actually, you make decent money, but where you make the most money is bodywork and painting. That's where I make a lot of my money. Bodywork and paint. There's big money in that, if you can do it. Was it the front or the back? I don't remember. It was the front. Yes, front. Which I know how to do all that, so I can make pretty decent money at it. Especially insurance jobs. I just did an insurance job through State Farm. Lady was going down the highway, and the guy wasn't paying attention and come over in her lane, hit her on the driver's side fenders, crumpled the fender up pretty good, smashed the door in, which the insurance company wouldn't pay for the door. So I had to fix the door, painted it, put a fender on it, some odds and ends parts, headlight. Pretty good money. And her insurance company just, her agent was trying to cheap out, trying to get her all used parts from a junkyard. When I give them my quote, my new parts were cheaper than their used parts. Got it all done, painted it, and she was happy. Made decent money. I mean, it all depends on mechanic work. Sometimes you can. Sometimes it bites you in the butt. Quote somebody a job and something breaks, one of your tools or something like that. Then you got to buy a new tool. And then the next thing you know, you really didn't make a whole lot of money. But it happens. Okay, 9 and 10. Okay, now 45, 65, 65 again. Now I gotta go quarter turn. I think I'm going to use the breaker bar. I don't want to end up busting my torque wrench, which I'm not going to bust it, but I don't need it because it's a quarter turn. The only thing nice about it is it clicks, so I don't have to keep taking it off and turning it, but oh well, we'll do that. No biggie. There, so we gotta come up here. There we go. There's 2. 3. 4. 6. Now we gotta do 7 and 8. Whew. These are tough. Okay, 9 and 10. Done. Okay. Woo. They are torqued. Wow. Man, that was hard. Get a drink of soda here. And then I think I'm going to put the timing belt on. Actually, no. I gotta put the valve cover on. Because, unfortunately, you need... I'll show you. Sitting down in there, I don't think. The only thing that sucks, I put it up on ramps. Yeah, I guess it is. Put it up on ramps so I wouldn't be bent over real low. Then of course this side I had to jack up a little higher to get the wheel off. And now it's too hard. You can see there's the sign of a bad head gasket. That's coolant in the oil. Tan. Like a milky color. That's what that is. Alright. I'm going to leave these rubbers on here. Seeing that I just put this on not too long ago. Because when you get a valve cover, these pieces of rubber here that stick up, you get them too, but I just put this valve cover on not too long ago. And your timing mark for your cam actually lines up with this little rubber tit right here. I mean, I could put it together without it, but because it didn't move, but I don't want to take a chance on it being off. And another tip for you guys. If you do this stuff and you're putting valve covers on or whatever have you, and you're using silicone, the best silicone there is for this is ultra gray or ultra black, for 2 reasons. One, it ain't real messy, and it's high temperature to hold up. And 2, it's oil and water resistant. Where you use blue Permatex or orange Permatex or whatever Permatex there is, it's not temperature or oil resistant, or I mean water or oil resistant. Where the ultra gray and the ultra black are. And if you don't be one of these guys, which I've seen. I just worked on a car here not too long ago. Lady had somebody put a transmission pan on for her. And he must have, whoever did it, must have used a whole tube of silicone on it. Oh man, it was a disaster trying to get it off. A complete and utter disaster. I just put a thin bead and then I smooth it out with my fingers so that it's nice and smooth and even. And that's all you need. And actually, you don't even need it on this, because this is cork. And you don't really need it. But I like to use it just as a little extra precaution in case don't seal, there's a piece of dirt or something. Silicone will make up for that. So I originally had a buddy of mine put, right after I got this, the valve cover leaked bad, and I had him put me a valve cover on because I had to go out of town for work. And he tightened it down, and he just, absolutely smushed it. Smushed it to the point that the gasket didn't even stay in, it just smushed out around. And it didn't do no good. Didn't do one bit of good. It leaked worse than it did before. I ordered a new PCV valve for this thing too, but it's not here yet. So I'm probably gonna, hopefully it comes today or tomorrow. I can put it in. I don't want to run it without one, or with the one that's in it, but we'll see. Should be doing this on the bench, huh? Well, I'm going to be out of your camera view here. And what I'm using on this is not the fiber discs. They're like a soft, I don't know, kind of like a scuff pad. And that's what I use. Because they don't mar up the metal. I mean, you could use them on aluminum, like doing this head.